Hi, welcome to Vance Tried It. Today we're going to be making some Cannoncini. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up some milk. I have a pan here on the stove and I've already started heating it up because I want the pan to be warm before I put the milk in here. That's going to let us heat up this milk faster. We don't want the milk to boil. We just want to get it hot so we can go with the rest of it. So we're going to get that heating up, and then I'm going to take a separate pan, and in here I'm going to put 3 egg yolks, I have here a ½ cup of sugar, a teaspoon, probably a little bit more, of vanilla. That's pure Mexican vanilla. And I have 3 tablespoons of flour. And I'm going to take all of this, I'm going to just whisk it together in here. Get it nice and mixed together. It's just going to make a little paste. It smells good. Oh, that vanilla always makes everything smell good. Now, we already have this milk. It is hot. It is not boiling. It is hot. That's just where we want it. Now, we're going to increase the heat here to about medium. And we're going to slowly start incorporating this milk in here, a little bit at a time. So we're just going to put some in. Whisk it. A little bit more. Whisk it. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a Cannoncini? Well, maybe you've heard of a cannoli. It's very similar. In fact, my wife asked me, she said, aren't you just making cannolis? And the answer is no. Because while they are similar, they're not the same. And here's the difference. A cannoli specifically is a cone-shaped or tubular pastry, which is what we're going to be using, so that part's the same. But the filling of a cannoli is always a sweetened ricotta cheese. And if it's not a sweetened ricotta cheese, because right now we're making a custard that's going to be our filling, then it is not a cannoli, it's a Cannoncini. And a Cannoncini actually, in Italian, means small cannon. So we have everything incorporated in here, and we're just whisking it, making sure everything is put together. And remember, we have a milk-based product here. So we don't want to just leave it alone. We want it to get hot. In fact, we're going to want it to boil a little bit. But we want to keep whisking it. We don't want it to burn up. And as it gets hot, it starts to thicken up. And now once it starts to thicken up, we're going to lower the temperature a little bit. We're going to keep whisking it. In fact, we're even going to alternate between the whisk and the spatula just to make sure we get everything out of the corners. And we're just looking for a good consistency. In fact, that is pretty much what we're looking for right there. We're going to go, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 more seconds, not a whole lot more. Just let it thicken up just a touch more. And that is it right there. That is all the longer it takes to make this custard filling. We're going to put this in a bowl, and we're going to cover it with plastic wrap. And we're going to put it in the refrigerator because we want this to be nice and cold when we start filling our Cannoncinis. Let's make sure we get all the good stuff out of here. Don't want to leave any filling in here. Okay, so we have this all done. We're going to put it in the refrigerator, like I said. And then while it's cooling off, I'm going to get everything set up, ready to go to make our pastries, to have something to put this custard in. So we'll get back to you when I'm all set up, ready to make the pastries. Okay, so we are back and we're all set up to make our pastries. And so what I have here is I have an 8-ounce package of crescent dough sheets. You could use a puff pastry sheet if you want to. It's going to be pretty much the same thing. And so let's get this opened up here. Well, it did not peel off of there like it ought to have. So let's see what we can. There we go. And before we lay that out, we're actually going to just take just a little bit of sugar here. I have just some parchment paper, some no-stick parchment paper here. And we're just going to kind of spread our sugar out a little bit. So when we put our pastry down on there, it's going to get just a little bit of that sugar on there. We just unroll this, just like that. And just set it right down there, right in that sugar. Just get it nice and even there. Now I'm just going to take my rolling cutter, or you might call it a pizza cutter. You could use a knife, obviously. We're just going to cut this into 12 equal strips. So I'm just going to start off and kind of go right in the middle. Like that. And then let's go, so we need 6 on each one of these. So cut them in corners. And then we're going to actually do, I think we're going to do 8. Because I think it's going to be too narrow of strips if I do 12, and that's going to work out all right. And I could have taken a rolling pin and flattened it out, made it wider. I think this is going to work out just fine. So I have these cut up in strips. Now what I have here are these cones right here, and I got these cones off of Amazon. I'm going to put a link down in the description. You can actually go to my Amazon affiliate store and get these cones. You can get 8 of these cones and 8 tubes for $10. Now, Turia on happyhomeschoolnest.com, which is where I got this recipe, made her own cones out of aluminum foil. Well, that seemed like a lot of work and inconsistent, and I just didn't want to do that. So I found these, and that way, when I want to make these again, I have these. I don't have to keep trying to cycle through aluminum foil. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of my dough here, and I'm just going to wrap it at an angle right up the cone, just like that. And at the end, I kind of want it to be closed off so it's a full circle. There's not an overlap there. So I'm just going to keep doing this, and then after I have these all wrapped up on the cones, then I'll get back to you and we'll look at the next step. Okay, so we have our pastries all wrapped around our metal cones, and now we're just going to do a simple egg wash on them. And to make this egg wash, you just take an egg and a couple tablespoons of water, and I just whisked it all together really well. And now we're just going to brush that on each one of these. And what this is going to do is it's going to give it just a nice coloration. It's going to make it nice and golden brown on each one of these. You're just going to do the top. You don't need to do the bottoms of these. Just whatever's on top. And so I hope y'all will go down in the comment section and leave a comment. And while you're down there, go ahead and push the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you would. Maybe even hit that bell so you get notified whenever I post more videos. Every time you interact with one of these videos, it sure does help out my channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. And hey, while you're at it, don't be afraid to go ahead and check out homeschoolnest.com. That's Turia's little site here where I got this from. I'm going to put that link down in the description also, so you can easily just go check out her site and see all the neat stuff she does on there. So we have this egg wash on there now. And now I have my oven heated to 400 degrees. And we're going to put this in here for about 18 minutes. Okay, we're back and we've had these in here for about 18 minutes. So let's get them out. Yeah, nice golden brown on there. Those are beautiful. Just what we're looking for. And what we're going to do now is we're going to let these cool off. We're going to take them out of the molds, and then we're going to fill them with our custard. So I'll get back to you after these have cooled off. Okay, so we have our Cannoncinis out. They have cooled off, and now we're ready to take them out of the mold. So Turia said you just take them, you just give the mold a little twist and pull. So just work it just like that. And there we go. This one is a little bit harder coming out. Let's see. There we go. So some of them obviously are coming out easier than others, but they're all coming out fairly well. That one broke a little bit, but that's all right. We're not going to worry about that too much. There we go. So we got them all out of their molds. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our custard, and this is a piping bag, and it just comes like this. It's just a bag that comes to a point at the end, and then you can cut it off however thick you want it. just going to cut it off like that. I'm going to take a spoon. Put some of our custard in here. I'm going to work it down to where it's kind of close to the tip down here. Just like that. Now I'm just going to squeeze. And so what I'm finding here is that if I give the open end of it, the big end of it, a little twist, then I'm not going to have as much of it squeeze back up here out the wrong end for me. And just like that, we have all 8 of them filled. And that's our Cannoncini. And so now what we can do is we can go up here. I have some powdered sugar. Open this up. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of this in my hand right here. I just want to give it a light coast, little sprinkle a little bit on the ends here. Just like that. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. And now it's time to really see how we did. That's right. We have to taste it. That custard is really good. It's not too sweet. Just you can really taste the vanilla in there, and the pastry is nice and kind of has a little crisp on the outside, and just a perfect balance of the bread and the filling, the little bit of powdered sugar on top. Yeah, this is a really good dessert. And you know, it's not that hard to make. You just have to kind of do a little bit of planning in advance. Invest in some of these cones here, and you can reuse them many times. And you have company coming, or you have Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you're wanting to make a little bit nicer dessert that looks really nice on the plate. You can make some of these, have them ready for your guests. Or, hey, just make them up and eat them yourself. Hey, I tried it. You should too.